I'm Emily and welcome to episode 1 of attempting to sew my birthday dress. Here is the inspiration we're going with. It is an older, maybe 1 or 2 years old design from Carolina Herrera. It is out of stock everywhere and it is also $4,000. And since I neither have a time machine or $4,000, I'm going to attempt to make something similar for my birthday. As this is a designer dress, there isn't really a pattern for me to go off of, so I'm having to sort of come up with it on the fly and self-draft. Thankfully, due to Pinterest, I did find this graphic that shows me how to start with a basic bodice block and slice it up and turn it into a pattern piece for that kind of twisted front look that this dress has. I currently don't have a basic bodice block that I really love, so that is really where we are starting today. I am using the Annika Designs bodice tutorial, and I did go ahead and spring for the $2 cheat sheet on my exact measurements and all of the calculations already done for me. And that is why we are in the kitchen, even though we are sewing today, because I needed lots of counter space to roll out my paper and be able to start on all these measurements for my bodice block. So come and see what I've done so far. As you can see, I have my paper rolled out here. This is just a roll of tracing paper from Office Depot. I went for the 18-inch width because I knew 12 inches wide was not going to be enough. I have my phone set up with the directions right here, quilting ruler. I have a curved ruler that I think I'll need later, but I'm not totally sure. Just wanted to go ahead and have it on hand. And my pencil. I have a French curve, but I never know when to use the less curved part versus the more curved part. I don't know if there's a trick to it or if I'm just supposed to like loosey-goosey it. So we're gonna try. Does that look good to you guys? So it does look like the severity of the curve just kind of depends on where the ruler touches both the points you're drawing between. Maybe. We're learning together. I think this is looking okay so far. At any rate, it looks like the diagram I'm following. Okay, great. I have completed the back bodice. I'm going to cut this off the paper and we'll do the front. This kind of reminds me of being at the doctor's office. We have our front and back bodice pieces on the flimsy tracing paper, and then I also went ahead and transposed them to some thicker poster board, and this is just for me to keep up with, so that I don't have to do all of that drawing and measuring every single time I need a bodice block. That took a couple hours. So now, with these, we are going to transform them using this diagram here. It's probably going to take another couple hours, if I had to guess. So I don't know if I'm actually going to get to any sewing tonight. We'll see. Wish me luck. Like I said earlier, thank you to the Pinterest algorithm for blessing me with this graphic linked to the blog post that I'm using to figure out how to do this top. I will be linking it below. And the entire thing is mirrored to what I have. So I'm going to retrace this onto my tracing paper and then start following the instructions from there. So we'll be right back. We have gotten a new bodice traced on. I have no idea if you can see that. And we did add a dart, or they call it a shoulder clamp here, but in order to close it, to give us some angle. But in their bodice drafting tutorial, the shoulder, like nothing is really given specific measurements, and for the shoulder clamp it was like, I don't know, maybe go 5 centimeters from the neck and then go another 4 centimeters from that to create the clamp. My shoulders aren't that big, so I decided to go 3 centimeters from the neckline and then 2 centimeters wide for the clamp. So we'll see how that turns out. The next thing I am having a few issues with is it wants me to draw a circle on the front there and then use the radius of the circle, like mark it off, and then use those lines to kind of build out these curves. But again, it doesn't really give a measurement for how big the circle is supposed to be. So I guess we're just gonna guess, do something that looks right. I'm gonna try and find something circle to trace. This is a circle, but this feels much too large. I do randomly have a gold dollar coin, and I think I like the scale of that with what is going on here. We're gonna trace that. Let me get you closer. Here is our bodice block. We've got the shoulder clamp we're gonna close here. We've got a regular dart here. This is a cut line. And then there is our circle that we're gonna build the curvature off of. So let me go ahead and get this much of it cut out so I can close these guys up. Done a lot of tracing and cutting. We have a couple pieces that look like this and this. Reviewing the diagram, translating the instructions, we now lay these out on a new piece of paper to make one pattern piece. I think tape is going to be my friend here. So let's get started. finished the front panel. We have to do the back panel. And I don't know if you can see, but we've just got another trace of our basic back bodice, and this one will be really quick. We're just kind of drawing a line from the armpit to the front, a little bit angled through the start line. We'll cut the dart and then bring it together for kind of like a two-piece panel situation. So we're gonna do that now. Been at this for about 4 hours now, and we have one completed final front bodice piece pattern and then one completed final back bodice piece pattern. So that's going to be all for this video. Thank you so much for tuning in while I learned how to draft, and I'm excited to see how this goes moving forward. So I will catch you on the next video where hopefully we'll finally start sewing. All right, see ya.